in first will often take the first hits as well.
I mean, pushing means not having the stationary, the aimed guns. That's always going to be the disadvantage. But obviously, while pushing, you will have the advantage of surprise. That being said, I think Hypnotizing and Way to Success, both of them a little puzzled as to finding themselves. None of them even ready to fire a shot, and Way to Success just waiting to get unspotted here. Kitsune on the other side of the map, however, in that batch check, gets spotted, takes one shot. And if there's one tank on the battlefield that you don't want to take damage early on, it must be the Batcher.
Got to point out here, losi for now being in very, very passive and safe positions, just close to the red line, only barely having any map controls here, but still they cannot get pushed, and it's obviously not going to happen that they are going to get pushed. The BPS doesn't have to. BPS, on the other hand, preparing for a move on to the A cap, already relocating there. They have lined up their tanks in very passive positions, but also some tanks being a bit more aggressive and spotting here. The light tanks being used for that. Also some heavy tanks still in the middle concept 1B there, ready to decap B as soon as it is needed.
Now B for the time not on the cards for the team of losi. I mean, obviously Kitsune is very, very close, but as soon as he drives in, as soon as he touches the cap, then Spanish Sahara in that concept would be there to extract some HP from that Batchat. And as time goes on, a very, very passive start to this round number 2, but it's going to heat up rather quickly because those cap points that keep on ticking, they do still favor BPS, who at this point in time still have not lost a single point of HP.
I see a bit of movement here with the VK90 heading towards base B. I don't think he is going to be able or even trying to cap base B either. So it will still be questioned what losi actually has in mind here. It's a very, very light move for them. They are not doing a lot so far, which is very uncommon at this level. So BPS is also just a little bit confused about this maybe, and just moving around while they were the light tanks trying to find some more information here, because obviously just one tank capping a base in the very end might also turn around things in favor of losi.
And Way to Success here feeling out the waters in that matchup, because behind him we can see there is a WZTD push forming for BPS, and that one is going to hit like a truck at the timing that they're probably going for, because remember, BPS, they are in the point lead right now, but that doesn't mean they have to sit back. They can also go for a quite surprising
Imagine criar um aplicativo com a sua assinatura, só com o poder da imaginação. Conheça a base.
Quite surprising push, and I think that is what Way to Success is setting up here in that western part of the map, or maybe just trying to give an early warning. Does get spotted and takes one from the middle, but was staring into the gun of a WZTD there for a second.
Kind of lucky by the Batchet to not get punished anymore for that. The VZ's apparently not being ready for the Batchet to pop up right there where he has been. But look at that, there is the move into base B, and BPS is well prepared with all those guys on that A cap there. It looks like BPS is going to have a lot of shots. Question is, how hard can they punish losi?
Indeed, the punishment right now seems to be okay as the cap does get reset, and that is realistically what BPS wants to achieve at this point in time. Way to Success, however, driving in with that Batchat, looking for the flank, and I think he has got it. No, Kitsune with the shutdown, and he does get the first kill of the game.
But also Kitsune getting taken out there, yet the cap advantage is now in favor of losi. They have the cap, they have no guns more right now. It is going to be all about the kills now, racking up the kills, and this is actually BPS here getting the kills, getting the point win in the very last seconds. Very close match.
Very close indeed, and we'll have to wait for the damage distribution, but that was absolutely beautifully played. That was patient, that was controlled, that was very mature.
That was supremacy victory.
Yeah.
So,
not a single tank managed to put out more than 2k damage even in this game. Everyone just being very, very careful about this and not trying to overextend too much. The only one actually being willing to do so was the Batchet in the end. Way to success, not expecting there to be someone else behind. And that's a 1-to-1 now. Gravitas versus the TS team.
Now that means both of those teams actually do win out on their respective map pick, and at least for us as spectators, as casters, and hopefully as viewers as well, this means we're in for a banger of a match, because 1-to-1 means that both teams can take rounds of each other, which sometimes in the past hasn't been the case, but today hopefully this will continue, because I personally am very fond of tiebreakers.
Absolutely. Really hoping for the tiebreaker. Of course, although those teams will not enjoy it, especially keeping in mind that the losing team or the tiebreaker winning team will then have to face API in the grand finals, which is going to be very relaxed, not having had to play earlier. So it might not be all too great to have a long game before. Not a lot of break in between them.
I wonder how way to success appeared in that situation, but we'll see what happened on Lagoon map that was chosen by BPS again.
The Lagoon again, a very symmetrical map, one of the newest maps and one that I personally really like in tournaments. I think many people do, many options, many roads to go for. And I think because there are so many roads and ways to play this map, many people are just rather playing this a little bit more passive around the B area. We could see the corner around A here. Often there are some baits as well with some VZTDs that are not always working out too greatly though.
Round number 3 is about to start, and losi coming into this one with a Batchet. Double VK, actually, that is not double, that is quintuple VK7201K, a singular WZTD to go with it. And on the other side, BPS do have triple WZTD, double VK90 and double Batchet. So light tank advantage for BPS, and they're trying to spot the middle right now without too much success.
And once more, BPS is playing a bit lighter than their opponents, as basically on every game in this tournament here. The light tanks not able to connect or collect too much information so far, but they were mainly just making sure that no one was about to head towards base A or B unspotted. So far, no advantage on any side, both rather passive around the middle. Nothing unexpected here. BPS, though, with a disadvantage in terms of hit points, mainly. If you're paying attention to the 17,000 hit points versus 14,800 on BPS side only, BPS again will have to work around the map a lot more in order to get any advantage out of this game.
I mean, turns out picking 5 VK7201Ks is kind of good for your team's HP pool, but how will a BPS respond to this is the question. For now, they're sending Way to Success out, and he does spot God here without getting seen himself, as Kitsune is into the on the rotation into the C cap, and he himself doesn't get spotted for this as well. So quite the nice timing for the team of losi here right now, who do start up the first cap, and that's going to put pressure on towards BPS, who are lighter, and that means they have less HP to spend in a possible repush.
At the same time, though, also BPS is now about to take base A. They sent an over a TD over there, not to lose their disadvantage in terms of caps. Although it's just to make sure to not end up on a huge disadvantage. It's not going to matter too much for the moment, maybe later on, because just a couple of kills will be important then to turn around the caps in most situations, as we've seen on the last game again.
And now Santiago is going to take A without the support of Marmalade, so BPS currently not revealing how many tanks they do actually have in that northern position. The Cubby in the northwest currently not being occupied by losi, and that means the map does go in towards kind of a north-south split, as losi is starting to aggress through the middle, taking some damage for it, but those VKs obviously have a deep HP pool to draw from.
Santiago actually getting spotted by Kitsune, running into 2 tanks there. Might really be in big trouble. Is trying to push forwards there, but just taking 1 hit from the VK. It was a big one, but also Kitsune is suffering on the run. Not all too much yet. Maybe taking some more hits there. Santiago taking another hit. Not the greatest trade for Santiago. But also on the other side, we do see losi pushing forwards around the B area. They are going in there, so BPS is trying to push into the enemy spawn, trying to take out that isolated VK72 maybe.
Yeah, I think Kitsune, they're making the best out of a bad situation. Hold that thought, however, Spessy and Marmalade starting to open up onto those VKs that have gone into the middle. But still, the fact remains Lotzi, the first ones on the cap, they are still in the lead when it comes to the points, but they have also taken a lot more damage. That being said, though, Marmalade taking another one here by hypnotizing, and that's going to put him down quite a bit. Spacey, still full HP, still ready to push, but has to wait for more reinforcements.
Also, base B has been taken, so Lotzi now on more hit points and more caps and bases. For them, BPS still not having any solution, not having found any weak spot to push onto. Maybe it will be about killing those tanks on base B. We don't think they are really set up too well for that. Lotzi is still relatively close together and can increase the pressure on the A cap there with Punisher and Hypnotizing, slowly moving up, putting out a big shot into Marmalade already. There comes Postavina also in from the side. Marmalade is trapped.
Marmalade indeed trapped, and now we see the power of the VK72s. They do have a lot of HPs, but those WZTDs have a lot of alpha, but still slow and steady, starting to win the race. Yes, Baby Potato has bitten the dust off screen, but Marmalade about to die. Never mind that, he gets another kill before dying here. Kitsune the one to shut it down, but that was a lot of punishment in towards that team of Lossi.
And actually, BPS managed to even out the hit points roughly there. They managed to take back base B as well. BPS is on the tank advantage, although they are going to lose Bessie here. That's another kill for Lotzi. Yet still tank advantage to BPS, cap advantage to BPS, hit point advantage to BPS. Looking very, very good for them. 3 versus 5 at this point.
3 versus 5. Kitsune has just taken C, but Santiago already with the cleanup attempt here, driving in towards that C cap, and he obviously does have the hit point advantage as well. This means that Kitsune cannot really challenge the Batchat on the opposing team, and right now, I do agree with you, not really looking good for Lossi. They did start the match with a strong first round, but BPS not only responding, but answering in kind, about to be one up.
Although base B is still being taken right now on Lossi's side here. I think BPS might just steal base A, or they are trying to kill Kitsune there and Punisher afterwards, because those tanks are very important. And there goes Kitsune out of the fight already. Spanish Sahara also might be picked up here by Hypnotizing. That's a kill also for Lossi again. 2 versus 4 still.
2 versus 4 as Jen and Punisher start trading it out, but the gun advantage for BPS is obviously there. Santiago Bernabeu here all the way from the stadium in Spain to shut down the second last tank for Lossi, and now only Hypnotizing, possibly mesmerized at what happened in this battle. 4 tanks still alive and a kick-in for BPS that are looking hungry right now, and indeed they're going to get the reward. 2-1 BPS.
Hypnotizing was hypnotized by the power of BPS team. 2-1 is the current score. Congratulations. BPS is winning the second pick that they've made. Actually, the next one will also be the pick by BPS. But let's check the outcome of the battle.
Baby Potato not having a good time there. He was the one pushing forwards on base B and gets picked up with some bad crossfire. Also, Postavina not really able to push back towards base C. I believe it was the heavy-sided cap. Anyways, he was just getting killed there as he crossed over the ridge there. And that was already BPS somehow coming back from a disadvantage in terms of hit points, cap points. And somehow they managed to pick up the tanks there and just bleed out the enemies really, really nastily.
Alert! Radar contact! Enemy unit! All hands to battle station!
On my way!
Immerse yourself in a thrilling naval story
Incoming aircraft!
and assemble it.
How many times, Paul, you thought that BPS is in trouble? A bunch, I guess.
I mean, the thing is, with this many VK72s, you'd think they'd be able to close the distance, because they have just so much armor, so much HP. But BPS actually, with a beautiful job of finding out where those VKs were and then setting up those WZTDs to do like 1, 2, even 3 shots on the approach, thus evening out the HP. And then, obviously, a more mobile lineup all of a sudden has more options for crossfire and for assassinating singled out tanks.
I think the main game-winning move here was that BPS was setting themselves up very passively around the B area, while the VK72s tried to close the distance, tried to approach the BPS team safely with their hit points, but it didn't work out for them. They are really not able to penetrate the VZ, TDs, hull down, and VK90s also having a ton of armor. Very tricky to penetrate with an inaccurate gun especially.
Alright, so this now means that still all of the map picks have been going in the team's favor that did actually pick it. I believe now, upcoming, we do have a lossy pick. The site is going to be BPS North. Any, like, insights on that one? Or what do you think about that?
Ghost Factory will be the next one. It's a map that can be played in various different ways. Often we see some heavy brawls around the factory side there, because that's where most of the caps are located. But it's also not unthinkable to see some pushes around the A cap. But there you do give up the caps completely. You can only maybe take one cap, if at all. It can still be decapped quite nicely. Well, on the other side, you can really take 3 bases there, and then you would be 3 to no bases at all. And you would have to go for some very clever and refined pushes, which is very tricky to do.
I wonder if the Punisher will be punished again in the very beginning of the battle. It looks like it's his way to play this tournament. So good luck. Let's watch the next map and the next battle.
Here we can see the aforementioned factory hall, which makes up the main part at the center of the map. It hosts 3 caps here, or 2 caps actually. The other cap is close to it though. And also we are having a medium-sided cap far away from the main fight. But here is mostly the fight going to happen. There are a lot of good hull-down positions, a lot of options for people to hide and just go for some good shootouts. Here's the I cap inside right now. It's very exposed though, and can get decapped really nastily.
Going into round number 4, Lossy here looking for the equalizer, doing so with a Rhino, a T100 light tank, double VK90, triple WZ, and on the other side, triple WZ as well, a VK72, a Mouse, a Concept, and a Batchat 25T. This transfers into roughly 1k HP advantage for BPS.
Looks like BPS is going to do the A move, the A push here, sending the super heavies to the outer side of the factory as it's often done. Lossy, on the other hand, playing for the decap. Taking base B still will have a cap advantage, that's for sure. They can also take base D for free. At the same time though, they are giving up the map control, and BPS is about to push into their spawn. Lossy already preparing for this. Baby Potato on the hill there together with Kitsune. Not a lot of tanks for Lossy in the back though, and BPS is increasing the pressure immediately there.
Yeah, indeed, BPS starting to push forward. They do spot out Kitsune in that T100 light tank, who cannot cross away here. Takes 520 to the face, another shot into the side of the light tank. And the Concept actually only hitting the track shot there. Very lucky for Kitsune to even make it out. But BPS, they are on a roll here. The trainer has started and seems to have no breaks. They're trying to close in everywhere as Way to Success finds a double WZTD and finds 2 shells as well. Not that he wanted to pick up those.
Ouch. That was a very bad punishment for Way to Success. He might not be able to run away. Punisher is coming up right behind there. Way to Success currently completely in the open. Might have the house to cover behind, but I don't think he is going to make it. On the other side though, BPS is going in on Baby Potato. Will have to kill very soon already. Will be able to take back the caps if it is going to be about that even. Hit point advantage on Lossy's side. Slightly though.
Hit point advantage for Lossy, but Baby Potato now going down means that it is a 5 versus 7 currently in favor of BPS. And they obviously are looking for more kills right now. They want to extend that gun advantage to just have more effective DPM. Currently, they're also able to keep their one-shot safe, and that is really beautifully played by BPS. And currently, Lossy, they do look quite a bit stunned as Punisher takes one to the face.
Very interesting switch in terms of gameplay here. BPS suddenly playing a passive game again. They are having the tank advantage, they are not having the caps, but they switched very quickly from aggressiveness here to some passive lineup where they are just holding behind the factory, looking out for some further options. Lucky for them that Way to Success was actually able to survive and managed to retreat into cover. He is down to a one-shot, but will still be able to just overlook the map a little bit, getting some support by the VZ, and also Concept 1B just just going into these hills here. Very, very strong positions on this side of the map where you can take these hull down spots there to cover base A and shoot into the factory even.
Oh, Punisher here getting spotted on that rotation, and I think that might be very unfortunate for him. Breeze blocks already with that Concept 1B starting to trade it out, but we do know that he has support coming, and support is indeed on its way in the form of Way to Success in the Batchat, as well as Breeze blocks. Punisher here getting found, getting taken out. 7-4 tanks right now for BPS.
That was a very good kill on BPS side here. losi just being a little bit too careless, a little bit too optimistic about this move, but it might not be entirely over yet. The hit points are still fairly close. Tank advantage still for BPS, but it's not impossible for losi to come back still. But God also being isolated, they're getting taken out, only leaving 3 tanks alive against 6 tanks still on the field on BPS side. BPS doing a phenomenal job at keeping every tank alive here. Now they're also starting to lose some though.
Starting to lose some. I mean, they do have some one-shots here, and still the cap points in favor of losi, but the tanks, they are not. Only 2 remaining, but a good shutdown coming out from Pozdravlenie in that WZTD doesn't die for it even, and now Way to Success, who managed to stay alive in that Batchat, starts to become the absolute trump card, the playmaker for the team of BPS, putting 1, putting 2, and putting, never mind, no third one, because it's going to be Spacey to pick it up, and now only 3-2-2 in that WZTD remaining. He also gets picked up, and BPS, they started off not so good into this match. However, all of a sudden, we are left with a 3-1 scoreline.
A infantaria chega às batalhas de grande escala no jogo de ação online gratuito War Thunder.
What a beautiful game it was. Way to Success is dominating the battlefield and doing crazy things on the battle. Oh, that was beautiful Ghost Factory match.
It is also the first game in this whole match that was not won by the team who picked it. So on the home turf of the opposing team, BPS, suited up in style, are able to get on towards match point.
I want these glasses.
You mean the gamer ones with the yellow glass?
Yeah.
maybe that's what's helping them. You know?
I hope so. We can face the last battle right now, yeah? So we're playing best of 7. It means that we need 4 victories for the team to proceed to the grand finals, where APA is waiting for their opponents. So I want to see some more battles. What about you guys?
I mean, we wouldn't be here.
BPS is kind of dominant right now. But yeah, the strategy not quite new actually, still losi not being prepared for it. The push around the A cap without even taking the base is not entirely uncommon in this tournament here. Still, they managed to just pick up the T100 very, very early on. It was maybe a bit of a misplay in that regard, that he just overextended for a bit too long, bad timing there. BPS just being very, very quick with their push. Very early move by them that worked out really nicely for them. Just the team of losi not being able to come back from this, not having the mobility, and just really struggling to move back into the enemies. They're also overcommitting a little bit with their VZTD on the A cap, still just losing some tanks, which are fairly isolated. They're not being prepared for BPS to come back with that kind of push.
I also want to emphasize on how controlled this was being played by BPS. Like, despite not having 2 caps, after getting those 2 initial kills, they were like, all right, let's slow everything down. We bought enough time by getting those kills on the board. Now, let's chill. Let's play a very, very slow and controlled game. Let's take positions. And then even, I mean, luckily for them, there was that, I guess, unfortunately for Punisher, attempted flanking maneuver that ended up getting spotted. That translated immediately into another kill. So on a tactical level, just very good gameplay from BPS.
I think BPS was also I think BPS was also trying to be a bit more careful after they have thrown a game away on a disadvantage yesterday only on Molenbeek. They could have won and just went into 2 aggressive positions. So yeah, BPS just showing some more patience today. And you can see the suits there. They are well prepared to face anything with cool nerves.
Let's see if the next battle is going to be a decider in this first match. Lagoon will be our next map. Beautiful one. and best of luck to both teams.
Lagoon again?
Dynasty's
I
Pearl?
think Dynasty's Pearl, yeah.
Yeah, I think we had Lagoon already.
Let's play it again! Oh, sorry guys,
No,
of course Dynasty's
really-
Pearl, yeah.
Dynasty's Pearl, all fine here. Dynasty's Pearl also a good map in terms of being very symmetrical here. There is just no spawn with any significant advantage, and often we are seeing some heavy brawls here, very heavy lineup, people playing the city side aggressively. Of course, also the park area can be played as it was often done in random games due to the nature of having some better hold on positions, but at the same time, the park area is just not granting that much map control. Pushes into any direction from one spawn to the other are very difficult to do anyways.
All right, BPS looking for the knockout punch, and Lossy trying to stay alive in the tournament. Coming in with double mouse, triple VK72, and double WZTD on the other side. BPS bringing a light tank actually with their Batchat, double mouse, quadruple WZTD, and all of those super heavy tanks from Lossy immediately spotted while driving towards B and C simultaneously. So good initial job by way to success. That Batchat immediately getting the information. That gives time to his team to set up rotations, to set up a trap possibly, because that is what we might be seeing.
Luckily though, the Batchat was able to avoid getting blind shot by the Lossy team there, who were all trying to shoot that bush already. A little bit of a relocation on BPS side, rotating over to the other side as they have spotted the other tanks over there around the C area between B and C, so to speak. Lossy with a big hit point lead once more with their very heavy lineup, but they are also getting aggressive already, sending their tanks towards base B.
Triple VK72 driving towards the cap, but they're obviously getting crossfired from a few angles here. Spanish Sahara tanking like a champ in that mouse. At the same time, Daniel SXB driving forwards in the mouse himself, putting one into Spanish with
Você quer ganhar até R$6.000 por mês? Esse é o salário de um analista de cibersegurança e o Santander quer te ensinar isso de graça.
geplatzt. Wir haben sie böse erwischt. Los geht's! kör vi! Ingen verkan i målet. Ett av banden har tagit en träff. Vi dingar dem bara. Fienden träffad. Träff. Verkan. Vi slog igenom pansaret. Vi slog rakt igenom pansaret. Genom pansaret. Föraren är skadad. Vi kan nästan inte röra oss. Träff. Genomslag. Fienden träffad. Där gick bandet. Vi står stilla. kör vi. Den gick genom pansaret. Pansaret. Fienden träffad. Bandet är skadat. Bra skada. Det är hål i bränsletanken. Bra skada. Pansaret. Träff. Ni är utslagna. Lämna vagnen. sprickan i målet. Fienden träffad. Träff. God verkan. Målet nedkämpat. Träff. God verkan. Bandet är träffat. Det kan gå sönder när som helst. Vi slog rakt igenom pansaret. Träff. Genomslag. Vi slog rakt igenom pansaret. Gick inte igenom pansaret. Träff. God verkan. Utgå. Genom pansaret. Riktigt bra träff. Genom pansaret. Träff. God verkan. Träff. Genomslag. Fick jag dig. Föraren är träffad. Vi måste köra långsamt. Fienden träffad. Vi slog igenom pansaret.